And when you supplement with fertilizer, don't burn it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just too
hot.
Yeah, it's too.
And when you supplement with
Well, I'd like to hear that again, Mike.
Closed it out, sorry.
Yeah.
Remember how it was playing back? It was just doing that. And so that's why I was like, I'm sorry, Mike, would you say that one more time?
Right. Yeah.
Are there any places? Because that outside of Victoria going north and in the end, there's and west, there's I used to I fill up the back of the truck with rice hulls, and you put that into your soil, and because in Victoria it's just sand, just pure sand. And you add that into it. Oh
Showtime.
my God, it was the best.
Rice hulls, huh?
Yeah.
She's coming back.
So this will be case 706. There's going to be a table kind of behind the door that you're going to sit in there on the floor. So just come on around. Sit there. That's the one over here. Just one.
You get your own little corner over there. Yes, I like it.
Do something else fine in just a minute.
Ms. Hernandez,
Yes,
welcome.
thank you.
We have some administrivia to go through. Just follow along with us and we may come up with a few questions along the way. Hearing on case 2020-706. Ordered. We are the appraisal review board that will be hearing your protest today. The board of these three people here, myself and Ramona, is on Zoom. So you'll hear her through those speakers. We do not work for the appraisal district. We are appointed to perform an independent review of your protest. At the end of the hearing, you may complete a survey regarding your experience. The survey may be completed. Survey form and emailed to pcad.communications@cpatexas.gov or online at surveymonkey.com/r/surveyarb. Survey is voluntary. We do appreciate you taking it. You also have the right to appeal our decision. Appeal information will be provided to you with our determination. In accordance with Tax Code Section 41.45H, all written material that has not been provided must be provided at this time. And Ms. Hernandez, do we have all your evidence?
Well, I
Any?
don't have no evidence. I just come because I wanna
Okay,
see the, you know.
that's okay.
Okay.
I just want to add ARB members who are considering the protest have not communicated with anyone about the protest and are signing an affidavit to that effect. And I'll begin. Charles Powers, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of Tax Code Section 41.60.
I, Kathy Hoffman, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of Tax Code 41.66.
I, Cindy Duck, solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code number 4166F.
I, Robert Dayton, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of Tax Code Section 41.66.
I, Ramona LeBlanc, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of Tax Code Section 41.66F, and I'm signing to that effect. And I'm physically located in Texas.
My name's Val Smith. I'm a notary public, and I am witnessing Ms. LeBlanc's signature via Zoom, and I'm physically located in Texas.
All testimony from all witnesses must be given under oath. Now, Hernandez, if you could read that statement, it's take to the table there.
Which one?
This one right here, it's what's written on here. State your name and then read I do solemnly swear.
You need to do this out loud, Ms. Hernandez. We need to get it for the record.
Okay, but the only thing that I don't understand too much is the big words in English, you know. My Spanish is more than English, and this is just to confirm what the.
Un momento, por favor.
A ver, anda. Tú sí sabes. I feel more comfortable because only the big words, you know, I don't understand it. The rest it is, but.
It's saying you'll tell the truth.
Okay, that I can say the truth and do it. Oh,
Right.
okay, that one is okay. So,
Nosotros tenemos una mujer que usted se puede ayude with the language, okay?
¿viene? Somebody's coming?
Un poquito.
Ya, pero ya me explicó ella que es un, como jurar que.
Yeah.
Okay.
Esto, como
Okay.
esto.
I have to do it.
Oh, you know. Josie, can you help her translate this in this testimony?
I don't know how to read in Spanish. I'm sorry.
Okay,
No,
can
it's
you,
English.
English, she needs to
You
be able
translate.
to
I
say,
don't know how to translate.
Okay.
Okay.
let me put it-
Let's see.
But I understand now. They told me this to swear.
yeah.
Okay, and so, okay, I understand that.
Says, I'm gonna read it aloud, and you tell me if you understand it. I do solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony I present to the Appraisal Review Board for the Aransas County Appraisal District is true and correct. ¿Sí entiendo? ¿Sí entiendes?
Sí,
Okay, do you affirm that? Okay,
yes, but what is, what they telling me?
so what you tell them is true.
Okay, okay.
See, is that,
Yes. Me, what I say, okay.
and then tell them your name?
Esperanza Hernandez?
Está bien. Okay, I think we're good.
Okay.
Can you record
My name is
anything else?
Michael, we're good.
go
Yeah.
ahead and.
Thank you.
My name is Michael Soto. Do solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony shall present to the Appraisal Review Board for the Aransas County Appraisal District is true and correct?
Now, Ms. Hernandez,
Yes.
you go ahead and finish. Finish what you're doing. You see this chart
Mike,
in
do
front of
you have
you?
a phone?
This,
This one?
You speak
Yeah.
Spanish, right?
It's how we run the hearing, the time for the hearing, okay?
So did you
And
write?
the question is, do you want to go speak first,
I have.
or do you want Mike to speak first?
if I speak first is what I wanted, you know, to talk about it,
Yeah?
okay. I can speak first.
Okay, you have 5 minutes, and that young lady over there, you got the clock. Okay? So
Okay,
she'll tell you when the time is up,
okay.
okay? Go ahead.
Okay, the reason that I'm here is because I appraisal, you know, put too much price in my house, you know, and I never think that I'm gonna pay too much taxes because what I had before was a 3-bedroom trailer, big house too, but I don't pay that much. And now they raised the price 179 or something like that, and I know it's gonna be a lot, you know, and I never know that price gonna be that high. I was thinking it's gonna be around my price that I had before. You know, I don't know, I was thinking and retire, but like that with the big taxes, I can retire soon. Just get, like I say, minus so much taxes, you know, if I don't pay nothing, you know, why they put the price so high, It's like if I live in the country club or I live in Gallagher, and I just live out of the city limits, right there, the line. I know that I have a big property, yes, I know. But it's still, when I buy that property, it was 16,000, now it's, I don't know, you put it 79 or 80. In my house that I had before was 7,000, and they, whew, it was so high, you know, that's my problem, you know. And when I call to the GO, whatever is the loan, they make the houses, they say that they have a agreement with the city, they don't gonna go up too much in the taxes, only 1 or 2%, but I don't know if it is true, that's what they told me over there, you know.
Guinness, GLO?
Yeah.
Yeah,
The one they give you they give you the loan to make the houses, you know.
okay.
They, I don't know how it works, Mr. Hernandez, they were supposed to give that high, but the price tell me it's gonna be high. It's not that they don't give me the price yet. That's what I'm here, because for me, it's a problem to pay that too much. It's gonna be like a double or a little bit more than what I pay every year.
Does everybody from the board understand what she just said?
Maybe not.
She said the GLO told her that the city would not go up on her taxes.
Yeah, the city doesn't.
More than 1 or 2%.
The city really doesn't have the
They have
authority
an
to say
agreement
anything
with
about
you.
taxes. But,
That's what I thought.
yeah, but nonetheless, she's affirming to you that she believes somebody told her that from the city. Okay,
Protest form is interesting.
yes, for the record, the protest form, and it's per time, but it says incorrect appraised market value, too much for a small house. And then I think that the next one is under ag, but I don't believe she applied for that. No, you don't really mean, like, one of the boxes that you check, it actually says, can you clean that up? The other way? There we go, right there. Ag use, si quiere ag exemption,
What's that?
it's for cows, like a ranch or something like that. That's the box that you check, but I don't think you want it.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
Okay.
Probably.
Okay.
I don't think-
Is the one that I checked?
That's what it's,
One
yeah,
of them.
that's the, and then you said too much for a small house, and then you said incorrect appraised market value. Esto y esto está bien.
Pero el
Pero
otro no.
the otro,
Bueno,
That's why I asked
es
you.
que no lo entiendo muy bien.
yeah, está bien.
Ajá.
Okay, what you just said, she didn't understand really well, which there's other people that don't understand which boxes they're checking as well, but she just affirmed that she didn't know which box that third one was.
So is this one of those houses
You-
that
you
the
have-
GLO built for you?
This is,
Got it. Now it's making a little more sense.
you have anything else? Ed?
No, that's all, because like I say, they don't tell me how much is gonna be the house, you know? Or they don't give me a chance to say, oh, you want this 79, or you want this the 199, or you want this for 120. You know, just make the house and that's it, you know?
Yeah,
And I'm happy with the house, I would say that.
yeah, and they wouldn't have any idea. Neither the GLO nor the city would actually have any idea what that market value is gonna be. They could just say how big it is, how many square feet, but they're not gonna be able to tell you. You wouldn't know until now. So that's what's going on right now.
So is she saying that she had a trailer before and then lost that? in the
Yeah, she
storm?
had a mobile home, a trailer before, and then she
Yeah,
had it
I have a
rebuilt
70 for,
by 74 trailer.
And that got stored in the storage, and that's how she had the GLO.
That's correct. Si tiene algo más?
And actually,
pues, forgot.
Si tiene algo más?
oh goodness.
¿Qué decir?
Do you have anything else to say?
Pues I have something in mind, now it's gone.
Oh,
It's gone.
okay. Your way.
Se fue.
Okay.
The old title.
She's saying it took off. Whatever she had in her mind took off.
It'll come back maybe.
On my cross-examination time, I don't have anything. I will say, I'll just use some of that time to affirm that she used to have a trailer that was a 16 by 70, 16 by 70, and she had a trailer. So what we did is we looked at that element and said, okay, is what she has bigger or better, which is 23, I think F. And if it is, then that's what's considered new value to her old freeze. And that's what's so hard for Mrs. Hernandez is that her bill was based on a trailer valuation, and now she's got a house that's replaced it. So the difference between the two, that value is new to the freeze, and therefore it's legitimate. It should be that way. It's just unfortunate because it's so large. The difference is really large. She's got, but you have to ask yourself the question, is there a difference between a trailer and a house? And the answer is, of course, yes. If you'll notice in our evidence right here, one of the things that we have on the very first page with the card is you notice that that there's some cap loss immediately. And normally you wouldn't have that, but we try to account for some of the land increase. And so we retarded that down. So even though the house is valued at 182, she's only assessed at 169, and that's where the new freeze is. She has the homestead and the over 65 in place. And
So you're saying this whole area went up, but y'all prevented that from happening to her on the land, so there wouldn't be so much shock,
well,
basically?
well, the way to correctly do it is to take the actual structure value and look at the difference and calculate that as new. But if we can go to last year's land value,
It's the same.
let me go to last year's, go to property.
Huh?
19. Yeah, you take the value that it was before the storm, and then you look at that value of the land and try to make it, try to account for that difference.
So what was it in 17?
So it was 43, I think is the number.
43,000.
45,430. And now the land is 63,100.
And does she have an over, did she have an?
She had an over 65 at that time. So we're just trying to account for just the structure itself.
You say you had put some depreciation?
No, it's homestead cap loss.
Oh, okay.
So it has to do with any addition that you have. And so the cap loss is created whenever it's looking at the structure itself and anything that's above that due to market. So if you're looking at the structure, the neighborhood Manning Market South has 15% on it, 115%. So it could have been part of that, or it could have been part of the fact that her land was less whenever it was frozen. In either case, she has a cap loss right now. So even though her value, her market value is 182,330, she's only being assessed at 169,827. And it will be that way in the future as long as she doesn't build anything. Let me go ahead and go into my.
Okay, you've got, I kind of, and I'll give you more time if you need it. You got like 2 minutes, but I'll give
Okay.
you more.
The thing under protest is market value. And you can see that this was an area, Manning Market South was an area that experienced value change just due to sales. And she has a 4 FD minus, the first sale, and she's on Dowdy Street. The first sale is on Terry, and it's a 4 SS plus. It sold for 179,000. She's even bigger than that comp. Comp number 2, she's bigger than that comp. Her class is not quite as good. That one sold for 225,000, and that's on James Street. This one's on 3rd Street. This is a 5 FD plus. It's better than the subject from a classification standpoint. But in those 3, you can see that the market value is supported at the 184 is the median market value. The subject is 1,260 square feet. I want to say that on these GLO homes, we've been putting them on at the 4 FB minus, 4 FB plus, 4 FB, in that range. They're kind of, there's like 2 or 3 different styles, Scott, like 2 or 3 different styles, and we're all just trying to be uniform when they go in. And I know it's unfortunate, but it's a brand new house in Rockport, and it's an area that experienced a whole bunch of change as far as, you know, land price per square foot. And she has a big old piece. When you look at her pictometry imagery, I mean, it's like that triangle right there. She owns that whole thing. And the house is towards the north. There's nothing else under protest, other than she says that the price is too high for the small house. So it's kind of a market value thing. And she's already said that she didn't understand about the ag thing. So let's see.
I remember what I forgot. Can I tell you?
Sí, sí puede.
Oh, and then the price that you say for 180 something, right? And then they go down to one price that you was telling there.
The
182?
Yes, and then they go down to 179.
169.
Yeah, because they go and tell me they take out the demolition. So of course, demolition, you can charge me taxes every year for demolition and throw the trash and all that. They take all that out.
Oh, you're talking who the GLO told you that?
Yeah, well, that's what they do, because they take me the paper first to sign it, and it was 180 something. But then after, they won't take me another paper, they say they bring it down. But they told me this is what they do. They put all the demolition and 3 trucks and whatever, the dirt they have to put in and throw the trash. I say, well, I don't know too much about building.
Sure. So, okay, yo tengo una pregunta.
Okay.
Cuando si you have the sign and you got your deed and you got a loan for this, ¿cuánto es? How much did you sign your loan for this thing?
They said it was 160 something.
So 160 something for the structure no más? To build the house, see?
Did she get a loan or did they build it for her?
Did you get a loan?
They build it, we don't pay nothing, but they put the loan because they say they
Can you see
give
if
a
there's a
loan to
deed?
make the house.
Yes,
And-
but you don't have to pay it.
No,
It's like a gift
a gift,
to you.
yes, I have to be there 3
Yes.
years and then I can do whatever I want, edit
Yes.
or something, but
So some kind of program through the GLO.
yes.
Okay.
That's what they say, that.
And I could actually see somebody from the GLO saying, well, you don't need to worry, they shouldn't go up that much. You see, just an innocent comment, but that's not the truth.
They should,
It was just a comment. They didn't mean it as in, no, your taxes will not go up. And
nobody,
that's not our fault.
yeah, nobody from that organization should be saying anything about that. They shouldn't have an opinion.
Yeah, because I was scared and I called one and then I called the other one and they told me talk to GLO.
Yeah.
And I talked to them, and that's why they say, well, okay. And I was waiting for this to come over here and talk to you and see. At least I need a break more than what I have, because I want to stay there for the rest of my life. I don't want to lose the property or nothing, I want to stay there. I'm trying to retire already and I want to be sure that I have a house.
Yeah, I understand that.
And I can pay my taxes. Right now I'm paying quarterly, but
Right.
But she's locked in at that 169, right?
Yeah, the 169 won't change with the exception of the navigation district, and that's one of the smallest taxing
Yeah,
units.
that's an animal.
And
the
so,
only break is over 65, but that's all. You don't have another break that you can give me there and give the lower price. That's it.
now for the over 65, you're frozen for the school, primero, and then you have the city, segundo, then you have the county, tercero. So you have those 3 things that are locked in after that. So those locked in from here and going forward, those actual prices that you pay, the actual levy.
Cause I have my neighbor, they don't pay nothing, but there was a veteran, you know,
Right,
that they don't pay taxes, you know, so
yeah, that's different, yeah,
that's a different story.
yes, ma'am.
Unless she's a veteran.
I'm gonna be-
I understand.
Yeah, there's some.
Get us on track, Cindy.
All right, so right now, we just went through her 4 minutes of cross-examine and rebuttal, so now the district gets their 2-minute rebuttal, and then we've got our 1-minute closings from each.
I'll say generally in my rebuttal that this is not the first time that we've heard angst or concern from property owners where, you know, we hear this over and over again where, you know, we've had this event in Harvey, which was terrible. Their house was destroyed. Then you have this government entity that comes in and says, we're here to help. And they have. This is, in the grand scheme of things, she's got a brand new house. I don't even know what your payback program, are they giving it to you?
If she stays there for 3 years, okay, the loan is forgiven. If she sells it before 3 years, then she has to pay it back.
And that's just a wonderful, wonderful thing.
So it's a free
The
property.
the
It's a
unintended,
free house.
the unintended consequence of
stay there
this
3 years.
is the added, you know, life
Taxes.
of her ownership that, you know, she has an increased market value and it's legit. I mean, we went from a trailer to a house. It's just hard. When a person's used to paying X and then they get Y and Y is 4 times what X was, it's hard. But in the grand scheme of things, you know, I think it's a good program. I mean, I think that what they did is great.
Did you mention another figure, and I don't know if she understood it or not, what was the 159?
169.
169 is what she said. I think she indicated that somebody from GLO said it, the structure.
I think that was the whole.
But on the casa, 169?
They said it's the
More or less, I have
As
the
far as
papers in the
down.
car, I don't bring it because I know that you have it here.
Okay, yeah,
Uh,
no tenemos. Okay, we don't have the paperwork for the 169 that she's indicated, but I don't even know what one of those GLO contracts looks like, but I think it's for the structure, placing it on there, and they place a temporary lien for the 3 years that you indicated. And if she sells it at any time, then she's liable for that, so.
No, the figure I was referring to was, I thought you said the figure 159 something was what the actual tax amount was.
169. Yeah, that's what, if you look on our appraisal card, it's the actual, not the market value, but the assessed value. See the assessed value?
It's up in the upper right-hand corner of the card.
Yeah, but I was wondering if she understands that.
I'm sure. I think, but you know, that I wonder if she.
Señora, si entiendes, pero
Oh, Lord.
esto es the value, pero esto se paga las taxes aquí, en 160. ¿Entiendes? Se paga en su bill, esto número aquí, no esto aquí.
Este is 169, this is a bill that I'm gonna pay taxes in this one.
Sí es.
Yeah, I know that, because that one is the laws, yeah, I understand
Okay.
that, you know, but still for me is too much.
Yeah,
So-
she understands.
Can I ask you, one thing I'm wondering is, let's just pretend that the loan is for 149,000, because they said, okay, this cost us 100, your loan is for 149, that's the value of this building.
Uh-huh.
If people bring you that shows that the loan, which is what it cost her,
Uh-huh.
you know, it isn't, it's a loan, okay? It's just, there's another part in this loan that says if you live here for 3 years, this goes away.
Right.
Okay, but it is a loan. So if she brings us the piece of paper that says, from the GLO, that says, this is, let's just pretend, it says this is worth 149.
Uh-huh.
But that-
It's a loan for a cost amount for a build. It's not its marketplace value, meaning that, let me ask, so in answering that question, I would ask a question. In this one, you have 2 situations, and this is just for illustration. You have 2 vacant lots. and this one is a GLO home. It was vacant land, it's a GLO home, and this one's 149, right? This one over here is a vacant piece of lot, and it's 149, but it got built by a builder.
Right.
And in the marketplace, hypothetically, this one's worth 182 because this one's sold. So this influences this value if these two elements are the same.
But you can't sell this one for 3 years.
That's correct. You can't sell it for 3 years.
Okay, that's part of the loan agreement.
Right, but the 149
But-
is for
But
the,
there's no closing statement, is there?
I don't know. I'm just asking, I,
Because that would, that, you know, but I mean, she doesn't have any of that with her today anyway, but,
yeah, but I can, that stuff I can find out.
I mean, because when you look at some of those loan documents, it includes,
Use the closing statement.
yeah, I think it's connected, and I don't know, it wasn't presented, but I don't know.
You're
But
right.
if the 149, it is 140 or 135 for that matter. Again, it's tied to, they can't say it cost them 135. We're still just talking about the structure. You know, even if it's 149 or 159, like she said, we still only have a structure value of 119. The majority of the, a good portion of this was the land that went up just due to the marketplace.
And the land, oh, okay, you're right. So, and the land was already up
That's 63.
last year. So this isn't even new this year.
That's correct.
So never mind what on this one, but it
Okay,
would be a
can-
curious thing.
We go 1 minute each.
You get 1 minute and then she gets 1 minute.
Okay.
Does she understand that the 119 is what the house is valued at?
Do you understand that?
Dime otra vez.
Okay. La casa nomás es 119. La tierra, the dirt, the tierra is 63,000. Los dos is 182. ¿Sí entiendes? Okay.
And last year the land had that same value.
Yeah.
So, okay.
En año pasado también.
The same price.
Yeah, for the land. Uh-huh.
Yeah, they go up so fast.
Yeah,
I just remember when I buy it, 16,500 for the whole thing.
that's really
When did
good.
she buy it?
Huh?
When did you buy it?
A lady from Michigan or something like that, they wanna sell over here, they don't wanna live here no more.
But when did they, what year?
2015?
Oh, no, a little bit, 2000, I think it's
2000?
2010, something like that.
Okay.
Wow, okay. All right, so now Mike, you get your 1 minute and then you get 1 minute.
She went first, so. Si tiene uno.
Oh, you're right, I'm sorry, she
Minuto
goes
más,
first.
se dice, well, yeah.
No, nomás lo único que quiero es, if you try to lower it down, that's all I want.
Okay.
That's it.
All she's asking is, she's saying, I just want to reduce the value. See, is that?
Yeah.
Okay,
That's it.
that's what she's saying. She just wants the value lower. In summation, what the district would say is that unfortunately, the market value is supported in this case. I think that, you know, we're using high congruency when we're talking about GLO homes, we're using 4FB minus as 4FB or 4FB plus, depending on the style. There's a couple of different styles out there. This is just an unintended consequence of getting a free house built for her, which I think is good. I think it's right. I think that's great. Unfortunately, it doesn't alleviate the tax obligation associated with what remains. So that's all we got.
Okay, so ma'am, now we as a group, the appraisal review board, we get 5 minutes for us to discuss this and come up with our answer, okay?
Okay,
And we have to, all of our decisions, we have to remain, we have to do the same for you that we have done for other people. Yeah, everybody has to be treated the same.
okay, you want me to?
No, you stay.
Over here?
Okay. So, Ramona, I heard you over there earlier. What's your thoughts?
unfortunately, I was afraid that this would come up at some point. And it's sad that the GLO, somebody may have told her something different concerning taxes, but when you look at the marketplace, it's equitable, market wise in the area. It's very unfortunate. I'm very sad about it.
We didn't do equity because the box wasn't checked.
Yes, sir. I looked at it.
I agree, it's very, very unfortunate. I think that
Yeah.
there's nothing we can change in the property card. Can't change for FD on our house, can we? So there's no changes to be made there.
Like I said, and that's the reason I mentioned it, was that these Jello homes, we had to decide early on, like there's a couple of 3 different models in that 4 or 5, kind of across the board.
That's what I thought.
And she is free exemption that she's entitled to, though.
Yeah, to the best.
Homestead and over 65.
And we spent, Val and I have spent some good time. It's not that we're infallible, but we spend time looking at these, especially when it's a 23F and which is bigger or better. We put it through a calculation just to make sure that we're giving them every advantage afforded to them by the law.
Well, I mean, I just, because I knew, and I helped people get the news out and, get them to where they fill out the forms for this. And I just knew this was coming. It's just a shame, that perhaps she didn't, and I get it, a lot of people probably don't get it, that GLO, has nothing to do with the property valuation for our county. So,
I don't think there's anything.
I know, I think that the value on it is an extremely fair value, and they didn't even go up on the land. I mean, they even locked the land value. So,
We didn't check the box for equity, did you?
No.
No.
I don't think it would have made any difference.
It made a slight difference, but not
Didn't make
much.
sure.
You can, the things that are protests were incorrect appraised market value, and then she put other, too much tax for small house, and then the third one was the ag appraisal, which I believe testified that that was like she didn't understand which box she was checking.
Yeah.
Or which box.
so what did the value come off of in the equity grid is what I'm trying.
Equity was not presented because it wasn't checked.
It's actually more.
Okay. Ramona, do you have anything different to say? Because otherwise I'm going to make the motion.
No, I don't, unfortunately.
Okay, so on account 27048, based upon what we heard from the appraisal district and from the property owner, because as on the protest form, it was marked incorrect appraised market value and other, and I think we have looked into every consideration possible that might affect the value of this property. I make a motion that we leave it at the value which it is at, which on the books is $182,330, and I just want her to understand that that other number that's actually to her is that 169. But
Yes, I think she.
I just want to make sure it isn't confusing to her. I'll second.
In favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, Ms. Hernandez.
Yes, hold on.
That's it.
That's it. Yes, ma'am. The value's gonna remain the same. It's municipal
The
value.
one, the
The one,
169.
169.
182 is, what they ruled on, they can only rule on market value. AOS can only rule on market value. So 182,330 is where they left it. Federal, with one of the Tienes exemptions, the exemptions, they bring it down to 169.
Well, I hope that I don't die anyway.
No,
Girl, I hope you don't.
I hope not, because I'm not enjoying what are we gonna pay for that?
yes, ma'am.
Hello?
I guess I try it, but
Yeah. That's
okay.
Is that right then, okay?
If I know that's gonna happen, I fix my trailer the one way or another. I fix it yours.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Were you out in the sun for a while?
What now?
She's on the phone with someone else, not us.
I'm gonna get, Eamon, he's gonna do the other two.
Are they in person?
One's in person, one's affidavit.
You're not going fishing, are you?
I'm sorry, say it again?
You're not going out fishing, are you?
Oh, maybe. What do you want?
If you're going fishing, I wanna go.
No, he just wants me to bring him a drink. I know.
I wanna
He
go
wants a
fishing.
scotch.
I don't even care about the drink, just
Okay.
get me out of here.
Who's next?
Hi, Eamon,
Hello.
good morning, good
Oh, we
afternoon.
Eamon. We're Eamon over again. Where's, which one are we doing? An in-person or by affidavit?
Don't know yet.
Yeah, I don't know either. There's one by affidavit and then one other one. Okay, go on first, I'll check it out.
We can take these off.
Yeah, if you want to, sure.
Yay!
We don't know.
Oh.
We don't know which one it is.
So it's gonna be great.
Oh my gosh.
So
I don't like seeing Eamon come in there.
I need to go check out
I know, because you know what that
with
means.
Val.
Yes.
I love Eamon to death, but I know what it means when he comes in here.
Nothing personal, Eamon.
No, he seems like a nice dude. He just brings bad news.
Right?
Eamon, I told you last week though that I appreciated you and thank you.
Okay, in person.
Here.
In person,
Yes. So
Okay.
and look at Scott, he's so happy. You gave up the wrong one. You should have, well, actually today, you were smart to do it this afternoon because you can hold this against Ray.
Ray's not here.
I know, but this is still an afternoon that you did. So see, an
You can
afternoon
use
that's,
this leverage to, you know.
Exactly.
in that, he'll have to take on an afternoon that's really busy and you only have to do 3 cases. We just won't tell him how light it was.
This will be.
Right, Eamon, isn't this how y'all do it?
I don't know, I haven't figured out the method or the rhyme or reason for how they figure out who's gonna do what.
I don't know. I think if you've been bad, you have to come back here with us. So I don't know.
People
Eamon and
who
Scott,
work here are good about not complaining.
you complain, then you get in trouble and you have to come back here and be with us.
It's one of those things where like, if somebody came in and was like, trying to work here and was just complaining and negative all the time and trying to get away with things, they would just ruin it for everybody.
Well, y'all are all friends and you just kind of worked it out, right?
I mean, nobody's abusing anything. It's fine.
Yeah, but for I think that's the bad seat over there. So he's been in it a
It
lot.
depends. I mean, they're all good seats.
Right there.
Way over here.
Yes, sir.
Hello, everybody.
Hey.
This is case number 875.
Right in over here.
Staying.
874.
This is the year end. Yes. You can move this anywhere. Yeah, this-
Good afternoon.
Howdy.
Charlie Powers. Your name is?
Mark Moore.
Mark?
Jeff,
Oh.
you see me?
Is this your personal property?
It's actually, I have it's Rising Industry is me, Casey Interest is Darren, my partner.
Got it. I probably need to recuse, just because I know y'all, you know, and I might, you think? Okay.
I think we all know him.
I just don't want anyone
It
to come
doesn't
back
know
on
him.
us.
It does not know him.
Okay, boys and girls,
Okay.
we got that?
Never
All
mind.
right. Opening hearing on case number 2020-875, account 20265. Trivia before we get started. This hearing is being recorded. We're the appraisal review board that will be hearing your protest today. We do not work for the appraisal district. We are appointed to perform an independent review of your protest. At the end of the hearing, you may complete a survey regarding your experience. The survey may be completed using a survey form and email to pcad.communications@cpa.texas.gov or online at surveymonkey.com/r/surveyarb. Survey is voluntary, but we do appreciate you taking it. You also have the right to appeal our decision. Appeal information will be provided to you with our determination. In accordance with section 41.45H, all written material that has not been provided must be provided at this time. Do we have all of your evidence?
You do.
I just wanted to let y'all know that he has a large plaque and I had to do it in 2 pages. So you'll see it as 2 pages in your Kindle.
Okay. ARB members considering the protest have not communicated with anyone about the protest and are signing an affidavit to that effect. I do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66F.
I, Kathy Houtman, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66F.
I, Cindy Duck, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66F.
I, Robert Dayton, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66F.
I, Ramona LeBlanc, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66F, and I'm signing to that effect. And I'm physically located in Texas.
My name is Val Smith. I'm the notary public who is witnessing Ms. LeBlanc's signature via Zoom, and I'm physically located in Texas.
All testimony must be given under oath.
Mr. Earth, if you will, you can read here or it's larger here, but if you'll state your name and read that sentence.
Okay, I, Mark Ward, do solemnly swear to affirm the testimony I shall present to the appraisal review board for the Aransas County is correct.
Hi, Aaron Burke, do solemnly swear from the testimony you shall present to the appraisal review board for the Aransas County Appraisal District is true and correct.
Mark, are you a licensed appraiser?
No, sir. I'm a licensed real estate broker, though.
Right. Okay. On the table there, also glued down there, the hearing procedure times. That's what we're going to follow. You get to choose whether you go first or whether the district goes first.
I think I'll let the district go first.
Okay, Amy, 5 minutes.
All right, this is account 20265. This is a piece of land towards the entrance of Keel Lake Road. Last year, the market value was $807,930. This year, the market value was $1,185,770. Again, it's unimproved land. Just scroll down to the picto. I'm sure everybody will recognize it. There you go. That right there by the bridge to Keel Lake Road. The next thing is our sales grid. Shows sales vacant land, 34 Bahama, 1876 Bayshore, and 2202 FM 3036. They're just large land sales. When adjusted to be about the same size as the subject, you get 1.2 million kind of all across the board. The median equity value is $1,216,470. And that for sales, commercial land sales, kind of large vacant land sales. The equity grid just shows that this isn't being treated any differently than any other land. The comps being used are 1920 Broadway, 1838 Broadway, and 1807 Broadway. The subject's 1902 Broadway. So these are all on the same street. And if you look at the indicated price per square foot, which doesn't take into account, you know, the size of the various subdivisions of the lot, whether it's waterfront or water view, the overall ends up being under the median price per square foot. The median equity value is $1,185,770 because it's just on a land schedule. And after that, there's sales ratio report for commercial frontage, but really not a whole lot to say about this. Just a piece of land valued based on sales of other large pieces of land and what is nearby. I will also testify that this land's the lot next to it is for sale for an exorbitant amount of money.
Which one?
The 164.
Where he rents boats,
Oh, over there.
and he just died.
And but that's you know, it's not being valued on the pending sale of that thing. I'm just kind of bringing that up as a way of saying this is, you know, useful for something. But that's it.
Okay, who's that?
Now, Mark, you've got 2 minutes to cross-examine and then 5 minutes to present. So it's 7, so I'll just put you in for 7.
Cross-exam, okay. Well, first of all, Doug Norelski 64444 was for sale. The sign is gone, it's off the market now. So I think he passed, something happened, right? And the rest is gonna have me for that, which is, they're out of sight. So I wouldn't even consider that. For other comps, I mean, a full-blown point lot on Key Allegro, it's been for sale for $1.5 million, and that man passed also, so that's 34 Bahama, and so it sold for, you know, $1 million, which is, you know, total 250 feet of waterfront, doesn't even compare to what waterfront. Okay, so as far as cross-examination, I don't need to cross-examine, I just need to present my case. Okay, so I've owned this plant since 1998. It has a lot of issues that go back for development purposes. The front look is, I have leased from a long-term drainage district land for the actual, you know, surface land, and I have the marina subsurface land. But all of that is subject to the navigation district's approval of whatever I want to put onto it, which has been up and down over the past 20 years. The biggest problem with this property in general is access to it. I've tried 2 different developments on it. It's got the bridge from Harbor Road, it's got the bridge coming here. And for years, I've been trying to get the city to help me with a access to the intersection, which is the worst intersection in the state of Texas. Okay, try to get me to do a roundabout. I've done studies on it. I'm still working on it. So here's the $800,000 value. I've been able to stomach this $300,000 valuation. I think is out of sight. The waterfront portion on this side over here is unnavigable. Right here on this side right here, that is actually the drainage ditch for this entire waterway comes right through there. That is only 80 feet over there, and that is choked down to about a 50-foot passageway. And if you have 2 boats going through, you cannot park the boat over there. The other part of this whole deal is right now, I'm in the middle of litigation, getting ready to be in condemnation litigation with the city of Rockport, because they want to take part of this property. And if you look at this diagram right here, this is their proposal, and they need to use the entire frontage going along there as a workspace area for 2 years. they do that, I can't do anything. I can't cross anything. So, and this is for the good of the community, they're asking me to do this. I mean, they wanna pay me a ridiculous amount of money that's not even worth it, you know, right now I'm paying $20,000 in taxes in it. In actuality, taxes and navigation district lease, the insurance, I'm paying $31,000 a year on this property. And if you look at that, that's pretty, so I don't, with that piece right there, I think that the rest of this land is severely harmed the next 24 months. So I think you're gonna raise the value of 300 when they're doing this, and it should be cut in half.
Well, can you point that portion out on the map of the whole property? I can't picture exactly where that is.
Will you do you mind standing up and showing us on that map where they're?
Is it the part by the bridge?
Here's the intersection. Here's the strike store. Here's where you come down the bridge, the one-way bridge, it dives right into here, and here's where the people loop in right here, right?
Yeah.
Okay, the only access point that I can get, because of the two bridges coming down, is right there. The city, without a full-scale development plan, is giving me problems. So I have an access problem. I have a problem now where you can't even get in there because all these cars are backed up here because of the bridge being broken. They want to take this as a proposed small right away in here, which we're still talking about. But they need this whole area as their lay down yard to build a bridge.
Okay, so they want the piece that's closest to the water.
So they want all this.
Now show us
Here,
the big map.
here's the road. Here's my 80-foot over here, right?
Do you mind if we put up the other map and
Yeah,
show us?
show us on that, please.
Okay, here you go. You're coming down, here's the bridge, here's the bottom of the bridge, they all back up starting right here, right?
Right.
Right here. So right now I have cars backed up over here, and I cannot even hardly access this, the property. Cars backed up. But what they're trying to do is they're trying to take this whole piece right here, the whole distance for 2 years, and tie it up for a laydown yard. You know what a laydown yard is?
No.
That's where they're gonna bring all the equipment to build the bridge, the equipment, the piling, the whole deal, the cranes, everything, they're gonna set up here. So essentially, they're gonna block my whole portion of the property.
But now part of that, it looks like because of how the blue property line is, when you go up on the Harbor Oaks Bridge, is that already property that, I don't know, an easement or something?
They can't use it because it's slope that hill.
It's vertical.
Yeah, it's vertical right here, right? So they want to take from here all the way here. Aaron and I are trying to get, you know, we're gonna try to talk to them tomorrow and see what exactly, I mean, they just laid all this on us about 30 days ago. Said, here, by the way, we're gonna do this, and if not, we're gonna do it by eminent domain. So they do it by eminent domain, it's the same situation, I'm in the same scenario. I can't, you know, they said, oh, at any time, you know, you just give us 24 hours notice and we'll clear a path for you to go through. I'm like, really? So it's kind of, I haven't got there yet, but I'm just telling you, I don't think it's right that you raise my tax on something that's gonna be encumbered by this whole situation for the next 24 months.
I have a question for you. Did the taxing units not offer to abate what you end up paying to them? You know,
I got a letter from the city hired a company to go and do appraisals and try to figure out what they thought it'd be worth to do this, right? And they sent us a letter and said, by the way, you got 30 days. If you don't agree within 30 days, we're gonna give you another 15 days, then we're gonna start eminent domain proceedings. Well, I didn't agree, so I guess I started. So,
but they didn't open with an offer to compensate for in some way for it?
yeah, small, but you know.
But was it less than what you pay in taxes?
Well, what does that do to the remainder of my developed property? So if they
I'm just-
if they offer me $100,000 for that, and it cost me $30,000 a year to own this, that's a $40,000 difference, and not be able to use my land for 24 months.
2 years.
Acceptable.
So it was the amount that you pay in taxes.
It's a man that paying taxes. That's not enough for what they're doing.
Yeah.
I need to look at that. If I'm being denied use of this property because of an eminent domain thing, I'm denied the use of this property. It doesn't matter whether they give me the money for the taxes or not. What it does is denies me the use of my property, which we may be going to, I'm trying to keep peace with everybody in Key Allegro, you know, because I have property in Key Allegro. But at this moment in time, and I brought that up with them, that if you're gonna do that, you need to pay me the diminished value of my property, you need to pay me for the non-use of my property. So I had a big hotel plan to go here right before the hurricane. I had a hotel, Marina's Hill, I had the plans and everything, the hurricane happened. Pretty much nobody's gonna do that.
If they do use this for a laydown yard, they're gonna, I'm guessing it's to fix the bridge and make it better, newer, longer.
They're gonna make the bridge a little higher and a little longer. And it's gonna be flatter, right? So I don't even know how it delivers it over here. I'm not too sure the stripe store is not, the only way you're gonna be able to get in there is to go around.
Yeah. You think that maybe they could end up creating better access for your thing in the future, maybe a better way to not be turning it into the lane off?
I've been trying to get them to put a roundabout or something in there for many years. The city, of course, never has any money.
Sure.
This is a city street. The only reason they're getting the money for TxDOT is because they are actually, the TxDOT engineers are designing it, right? And they're helping them bid it, they're helping them do all this stuff. That's why instead of being fixed 24 months ago, we're now almost to the 3-year anniversary mark and we're still doing it. And my partner, frankly, hates TxDOT. Every time they tell you that it's gonna be a year, it takes 4. Sure. So, that's one of the reasons why so praise value and other things are fine, but my accessibility now is gonna be cut. My frontage, I know you evaluate this, but this waterfront should not be even counted as waterfront. This is unusable waterfront.
What makes it unusable?
It's about 1 foot deep right here. Here's the channel. So it's like this.
Yeah.
And it's now at 16 feet deep right there now,
Yeah, sure.
So that's why they gotta rebuild the bridge. They had the big rains that washed out backside of the bridge over there, right? This whole thing that is all new, see that? Oh, anyway, I'd be happy to stick with my 800,000 that I had before, but I don't think that I should be.
Well, now let me ask you something. Scott, will you go back to that picture before? That picture, but pull out a little. Okay, so the land in front of you, okay, that you lease?
I lease that, that's correct.
Is that one of those, the 99-year, and as long as you get your form in and don't lose it like the people did off Market Street?
It's something that was done by Norman Scott. I don't know if y'all remember him many years ago. It was 2 28-year leases in a row, and I've already exceeded the first 28 years. I think I have 22 or something left. Regardless, when you go to develop it or build anything on it, they're gonna make you redo the whole lease anyway. You don't get to stay with something. They're gonna be. I've been through that exercise 3 times now. Every time we get a whole other set of commissioners on the navigation district, all that changes.
Right. Cindy, where are we at?
Basically, we're at the,
It's an increase of almost $7,000 in taxes.
we're really probably at district rebuttal, protester rebuttal, and then closing.
I don't have any rebuttal.
I'm good.
All right, so now district, you get a 1-minute closing.
Yeah, we presented our evidence for the value of the land. We obviously have new information that, it's gonna end up being a laydown area for the repair of that bridge for however long that takes. Probably will be a multi-year project. And yeah, it's good information. It's nice to know this stuff. That's it. What I'm saying.
You got a minute to close.
My point in the whole thing is you got $1 million piece of property that you can't access. So, and whether it's act of God or whatever, the city now is gonna impose its eminent domain forces on us, and we're not gonna be able to use the remainder of the property. There should be some consideration. I mean, there's,
If they execute eminent domain, don't they have an obligation to pay you something?
you're gonna have to go through an eminent domain process hearing and all the rest of the
Yeah.
stuff, and sure that's 2,000 in legal fees. It doesn't, it's not, it's free. I mean,
Well, it may not even start this year. So January 1st, it may not even be going on.
well, it's gonna be going on by then. They have to do something or they're gonna lose their tech dot.
Don't they have a certain amount of
Funding.
time to spend?
Their funding is not through tech dot, their funding is through the Trump federal money acquisition. They're getting some kind of special deal, so. I mean, I have a meeting with them tomorrow, but
Okay, so now we have 5 minutes to deliberate and come up.
Well, I think, you know, in past situations, we've taken into consideration problems with neighborhoods that have, you know, sinkholes and drainage ditches and whatever. This to me is
But not this year.
Yeah, we've done economic.
Yeah, we've done that.
We've done economic.
To me, this.
I think so. I think this is going to be a real problem.
I think it's gonna be a huge problem.
Uh,
10%,
How much is 10%?
100 and something thousand.
That would bring the value to what?
I don't know.
Well, that's
You want me to use my calculator?
Yeah. Probably you than me.
Oh,
I'm not sure that's even enough.
I'm good with leaving it at last year's price or assessment.
What, last year's assessment?
Yes.
What did you say?
600.
No, last year's value was 807,930.
So you're gonna cut it in half, Ramona?
That's not in half.
I would not be opposed to that. I think considering the size and lack of ability for him to do anything with that property, and the fact that it's probably going to potentially even cost money, even though he probably get paid something, we don't know what.
Yeah, right.
Said.
And he's brought forth evidence that show, that, he's telling us what the city's doing right now.
He did it under oath, so.
Right.
That was not all known to the Appraisal Review Board when they considered the taxes. So it's almost like starting over.
Right.
Yeah, I think Mark has some very valid points. It's very, he doesn't have dollar figures.
I think
to
10%
give
is
us.
reasonable.
You think what?
I think 10% was an economic obsolescence order.
Then what is that bring the total?
That brings it to $1,067,000 change.
I don't think so. I think we can do better.
I feel back to at least what it was last year. That's
That's what I agree with. Cindy?
I mean, I'll do whatever the group says.
I just think that, he's going to have a lot of problems coming up.
I would think so.
And he uses that property,
About a 32%, equivalent to a 32% reduction off this year's value.
The 807 is?
percentage, I'm just looking at the dollar amount.
All right, so
I think Mark
okay.
asked if that's.
So the two of y'all are.
You'd be comfortable with last year's.
I'm comfortable with last, remember, I still have to pay in this 24-month period, quote unquote, that they're doing, I still have to pay $60,000 out of pocket to hold this property without even being able to use it.
Well, But
I
they're,
got
hopefully
20,000 in
they'll be
tax.
paying you.
Huh?
Hopefully they'll be, and yes, that is a very valid point.
It's a very valid point. If they give me $100,000, if they give me $100,000 and I have to pay out 60, that's not a very, that's not a. Because now I
And
don't
I
have
didn't
to,
say
I
it
do not
was,
have
we're
to use
just
my
trying
property.
to do it fairly. I mean, and hopefully, maybe even they'll be able to figure out some way to give you some access, but you'll still be able to use it like you do now as far as the dock companies and all parking their stuff up on the front part. And they'll still be able, I mean, their access, they'll still have just that one road that they go in and out on.
No,
Yeah, but still.
no, they will not. They will not. You have to give them 24 hours notice to be able to clear their.
No, for them to just be able to go in
Yeah,
and out.
that's-
That, you're saying they're not gonna give you that little road?
The property
The
has,
problem,
probably has less value today than it had last year. Well, I know we're going by January 1, but we know where we are. So I'm still gonna go with going back to last year's price.
the problem I have is that we're trying to compensate for something that the city is screwing up.
Right.
And I don't think that's not what we're supposed to be doing.
That's how.
We're supposed to be helping the property owner and he's having problems.
But he's having problems because the city is screwing around and, that's between them and their lawyers.
I think that the assessment for this year is too high.
Okay, so let me ask you this. If we go halfway between this year and last year, will everybody, can
If you
everybody?
go
What is halfway?
All those round numbers, you got me.
Okay, can you go with the
I
million?
I can go with-
Million?
Yeah.
It's only, can you, Ramona, can you go with the million? I'm gonna make a motion, Ramona.
All right, you make a motion.
I make a motion on account number 20265, that based upon what we've heard here from the property owner and from the district, that we change the value of the property down to $1 million even for the 2020 valuation. I believe that this takes into consideration the appraisal ratio exceeding the median level of appraisal. And just so everybody knows, because you marked that as your reason, that is the only reason we can take into consideration. So that other discussion, okay, so we're putting it below what the median even shows it should be, okay? And
Just make the motion.
I just want him to know that we did that.
Fine, but make the motion, then we can tell him.
I made it. No, we can't discuss it once we close it.
Second,
I'll second.
all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
So there you go. Okay. And good luck.
Well,
It's gonna be a mess for everybody.
no, I know, and I want to get it done because I just told them to take 4 years. Like the total.
But see, and I had just heard it's gonna be after next year when they even get on it now, because they ran into another problem.
I'm sure. If they just called me instead of sending some headhunter in, it probably would have been, easier. Because if they really pissed off DC is what happened.
Oh, dear.
And you know how that goes.
Yes, not well.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Bye,
Bye.
thank you.
Aye.
Oh, yeah.
Whew.
What'd you say after today?
Number 25.
And Robert, I'm sorry I went on so long, but I did think it was necessary for him to understand. We couldn't consider any of that because all he
Yeah.
marked was that one thing.
I got it.
And he is enough in the community that you want him to understand. You know.
No, I'm sure he's no fool. I'm sure.
Well, no, he's not a fool at all,
You
but
built my house.
I just want
It's a really nice house.
I just wanted him to understand
Yeah.
that, yes, I'd love to fix, because it is gonna be a
Just go ahead and make the motion. We'll vote on it before we close the hearing. Then we can.
No, because as soon as
They're
it's
not gonna
second,
want
the
anybody
hearing
else
is
but you
closed.
now.
We can't.
Is that true,
Yes.
Charlie? Is that true that once we vote, that closes the hearing? Or is there time after the vote to explain to Mark in this example that before we close the hearing, or is?
After the vote, we're not supposed to discuss
It's
it
done.
further,
Okay, my mistake.
but you know,
We never have.
there always seems to be someone wanting to discuss it.
Oh, Charlie.
And
want
it's
him
just
to
our nature, we wanna
understand.
cover all the details. Sorry.
I would want
Okay.
him to understand, I mean. Because it was going one way and it was like, oops, we can't do that because here's what he checked.
All righty. Number 25, I'm ready.
Opening a hearing on case number 2020-25, account 61060. This is a by affidavit hearing.
Okay.
The hearing is being recorded. We are the appraisal review board that will be hearing the protest today. We do not work for the appraisal district. We are appointed to perform an independent review of the protest. Protester has the right to appeal our decision. Appeal information will be provided to the protester with our determination. In accordance with tax code 4145H, all written material is assumed to have been provided with the affidavit. The ARB members who are considering the protest have not communicated with anybody about the protest and are signing affidavits to that effect. I, Charles Powers, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66F.
I, Kathy Hoffman, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66.
I, Cindy Duck, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66F.
I, Robert Dayton, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66F.
I, Ramona LeBlanc, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66F, and I'm signing to that effect, and I'm physically located in Texas.
My name's Val Smith. I'm the notary public who is witnessing Ms. LeBlanc's signature via Zoom, and I'm physically located in Texas.
All testimony from all witnesses must be given under oath.
I, Aaron Burke, do solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony I shall present to the appraisal review board of the Aransas County Appraisal District is true and correct. I will reading the property owner agent's affidavit of evidence to the record. In the form of a letter. Southland Property Tax Services Solutions, something like that. Southland something. It was dated July 7th, 2020, from the Appraisal Review Board, regarding Schmidt 2 Prop 2 LLC Wilderness Oaks RV Park. Yep. Wilderness Oaks RV Park, property ID 61060, the hearing date 7/20/2020, time 1:30. Dear Appraisal Review Board, I am submitting this sworn affidavit on the above referenced accounts, which is the Wilderness Oaks RV Park containing 170 RV pads. The subject account nearly tripled in value from 2018 to 2019. From $740,000 up to $2,175,010, but was not timely appealed for 2019. In 2020, the value is virtually the same as the 2019 value at $2,171,750, which is not supported by the income approach to value. An RV park is not to be confused with a mobile home park, which has a steady tenant base. An RV park consists of overnighters, and there is no rent roll on the property because there is no consistency to the occupancy. As a result of the risky nature of the RV park, the capitalization rate, which shows the relationship between the net operating income and value, is inflated. The capitalization rates for RV parks are going to be considerably higher than that of other forms of real estate. In this scenario, I have a 12% capitalization rate, which is conservative for this classification of property. I have included several listings of mobile home parks, which are less risky, and the asking prices each have capitalization rates over 12%, with most over 13%. While we feel the subject property may have been undervalued in 2018, it is clear from an income approach that the values for 2019 and 2020 are overstated. Please also note that the NOI on the subject property has dropped 22% from last year, which is another major reason that the value for 2020 is excessive. We have provided an income pro forma which indicates a value of $1,487,000 for 2020. Again, it is important to note that the occupancy on this classification of property is going to be very volatile. This is the reason that there is no rent roll on the subject and why we have utilized a higher vacancy in collection. I swear that the foregoing is true and correct to the best of my knowledge, and it is my opinion that the value of the subject property should be valued at $1,487,000 for 2020. The property owner also believes this property is unequally appraised with similar properties. Signed, Chris Copeland, and was notarized by Cindy Holt. And
I just tend to keep going back and forth.
And the sheet from Southland Property Tax, it looks like a summary of the account from their system, the way it spits out. Giving values for 2018, 2019, and 2020, just like he said in his letter. The value changed drastically in 2019 and then it dropped a little bit year over year from 19 to 20. The next page is a summary showing an income valuation, and it indicates that they have an NOI of $178,500, 12% cap rate. That's where they get their value of $1,487,000. And then after that is the profit and loss statement, like itemized list of expenses and their income. And then listings on LoopNet, which is where their comps basically. One is in Montgomery, Texas. One is in Pleasanton. One's in Carrizo Springs, and one is in Lockhart. And it gives the description of each property. These are from LoopNet or CoStar. It's the same company. These are commercial parks for sale. Cap rate and his 12% cap rate. I think that's all he attached. Let me make sure that under protest form there isn't anything else that I need to include. There is not. Okay, that concludes their evidence.
Did you offer anything?
No. This is first of all, I just want to point out the obvious, I guess, but I make a habit of doing this when people do this. But this isn't being valued on income. So we don't have this on an income basis. We're not using the income model because it's been shown to be inconsistent with RV parks. And on top, that being said, I would have to go through this and make sure I agree that all these are allowable expenses and whether or not it's being, market rents or what. I don't know what he's doing, but I didn't even bother scrutinizing his income valuation because we're not doing it on income. The comps that he provided were like in Carrizo Springs and stuff. They are volatile and they're risky because those are places where the apartment tenant is like a boom and bust oil laborer. And here, this is actually a very stable occupancy in this park. Evidence for us, or it's got a picture on probably recognize it as soon as you see it. It's just past the Redfish Run Apartments by the airport. You're driving towards Lamar, you just pass the entrance to the airport.
Yeah.
And then there's a little brick apartment building.
On your left.
And on the left, there's just a bunch of trees with some RVs stuck in them.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
it?
That's it, it's 170 spaces.
Well, look at all those RVs.
Very tucked away, yeah.
Cindy.
Money in there, didn't it?
No, I mean, take any year, this thing. Yeah, and they said that their rent went down year over year this past year. I'm gonna guess that's because they probably had a lot of people who were here doing RV work that had money to stay somewhere nice, especially because next to the airport is where they staged all the electrical stuff. So there's probably a lot of people who immediately just walked over there and said, oh, I bet I can put money over here. But for the most part, that's just a bonus for them. I don't think RV parks are more or less, sorry, I don't think they're more risky than a mobile home park, quite the opposite. A mobile home park, you can't evict somebody if they're not paying.
Right.
Collections loss, and then you're left with this mobile home on your land, and you gotta do something with it, and how do they treat it? RV park, you get paid up front, they don't pay, they don't leave, they don't have nobody's homesteaded in an RV park. So it's, I don't think that, the comps that he provided, one of them was like a restaurant, one of them was 2 houses.
Restaurant.
One of them was a restaurant, one was 2 homes, one was a park that had like 8 spaces that was near the oil field. The cap rate, if we were doing it on income, would be lower than 12%, that's for sure.
So Eamon, those RVs that are on these RV parks, those are owned by the RV park?
No.
Owned by people?
Right. Typically, yes. Sometimes the RV park will own them. You know, the
Right,
person
and
lives
just rent
there
them out.
and just says, hey, I don't want this anymore, you can hang on to it. And they'll put it in their name. But it's easiest to think of them as being cars.
Okay.
Got license plates. They're like cars. They follow the same rules as cars, pretty much. And next one is just let's put on income 2.1 million.
But you didn't do it on income.
We did not, no. But I'm just saying, if we were, we would probably be higher than this. Because their net operating income's pretty high.
Okay.
Eamon?
Yeah.
Why did you decide not to do, no, Lord, not the income, not do the income on this one?
So none of the parks, the RV parks, were done on income, and it's because in this county, we have quite a few RV parks that are only like 10, 12 spaces.
Right.
Some spaces, there's like people that are just living there full time, and they're just the utility.
Right.
And while they've reached an economic stable balance, it's not really an investment property, and you end up hugely overappraising the low end RV parks, doing them on income. Because you're not taking into account the fact that the reason their actual rent is low is because that really is all it's worth. And then you end up underappraising super high-end RV parks because that's what they're used to doing. They're used to covering up things as looking like expenses. You'll never be at the value of these things because that's what they're for. They're essentially, I had a friend who was going to buy one who said, yeah, from what I've heard, they're a lot of work, but they're a cash cow. And that's a very succinct way of explaining what an RV park is like as a purchase. It's a lot of work, but if you do, it just generates a lot of money. I don't like the idea of, and I don't think it would work, and I don't think it's right to have people who have a little 9-space, yes, technically it's an RV park, it's got a sign, yes, sometimes people stay there for a weekend, spaces in over on Dowdy Street or something. That's
Right.
not an investment property. And saying, well, I bought it for 200 and I'm going to sell it for 300. You're telling me that it's like $800,000 because it's like some sort of aggressive investment. It didn't work. So I was trying to find some way that actually worked from the little parks to the big parks, and only place where we have room to grow, I think, to make it more accurate, is the parks that have a lot of cabins. You know, they have little cabins they put in and they rent those out.
Right.
Those end up creating some sort of missing value. They sell for more than we have on them, and it's got to be those cabins. You know,
This is 170 spots.
it's got
This isn't a
107.
mom and pop operation.
It is not. This is one of the bigger parks. But she was asking why I didn't put it RV parks on income, and it's because we have to appraise every RV park in the county. And basically the choice was between telling the tiny little parks that they're gonna be valued as if they're some sort of large national level business, or telling a big park that it's gonna take a couple of years to fully figure out how to value their property.
So you can't draw a line and say anybody with more than 100 spots gets income approaching, less than 100 gets. But
No.
why not?
We would get sued every year by every large park. In fact, part of the thing that precipitated us doing this was there was a large park that felt like their value was, they were being gone after because they were large, and they said, you gotta do the other parks like.
So we're gonna have this problem every year. These people parade in, you're gonna have it cost, they're gonna have income, and we
That's
have
not much of a problem.
no way of comparing.
I'm just saying, you can do all three. You can do all three approaches to value. You can do a cost, you can do a market, and you can do an income on the same property. The reason that we're not doing it on income is because it isn't consistent. It ends up overvaluing some and undervaluing others. And this is just still continuing to work.
What's the cap rate?
His cap rate is 12%.
What's yours?
I'm not doing it on
I
income.
thought you said
I know.
you weren't doing it.
No,
If I
well,
was-
if you were,
If I was, I mean, it would be at least 8 or less.
Okay.
Yeah,
Amen.
parks regularly sell at like 6%. I mean, you gotta think about the fact that if you're spending a couple $1 million, you're taking that money out of other things. And the most, like sort of your baseline of good idea, bad idea is a government bond. Because it's like, if your business is just so bad that it's making you less money than if you just stuck it in a treasury bond, you should just do that. You don't have to do anything. And that's gonna work as long as America exists. So that's like that ends up being your baseline. So there does come a point where it's literally not possible for a business to have like a 30% cap rate, because then you just wouldn't do it. The answer is don't do that. Don't turn the White House into a McDonald's. It's a terrible idea, you know? But yeah, this park is just really stable. I mean, if we look at their evidence, like I said, I didn't even look at it because I'm not doing it this way, but their total revenue for the year is $530,000. And in their expenses, just really quick, I guarantee I can find.
But you weren't that far off, 1.7 compared to 2.04.
What's 170?
Down, when you went down to the bottom,
170,000?
the page, no, 1 million. I'm saying the total value.
That's not his.
That's not his property.
Oh, yeah, that was some other property.
So Amen,
Yeah,
they say that they have 170 lots and we have 175 on the card.
is that accurate, Scott? Can we go to the park?
This is an awful lot like one. Goodness gracious.
Oh, yeah, okay. So we have 175 and they said it's 170. Sure, it could be.
Correct.
Go down the 50,000,
Yeah, I have no problem.
50,000.
Sure.
And that's on the improvement.
Yeah, the reason their value went down $4,000 from last year is they have stuff on this property that's not RV spaces. It's their office buildings and stuff, and they just appreciate.
What did that change result in?
That would take $50,000
Like
out.
1.9, hold up, I'm doing it now. Yeah, it's like 1.9, but.
So it'd be 1992480.
What?
1992480.
Or, yeah, 480, you're right. You're right, my dear. So 19924.
Now, if I take Damon's 9% cap rate and use their NOI, I get 1,983,000.
That's close.
983?
Yeah.
If we take,
I take their NOI and Damon's estimation of a cap rate of 9%.
so what do you want, which number do you want?
I mean, it just, they're so close.
Your pick, Charlie. I'll let you pick the number on this.
Well, I think we need to go with the space correction because that's.
Yeah, the space
I
correction
agree.
is
That's a
easy.
fact. I mean,
It is easy, yes, right.
That was 5 trailer pit.
Yes,
So
okay.
50,000.
And because they said incorrect, they've marked both, so we can, okay. So anybody else have anything else? I'm sorry, did we cut you off? What is anything else, Eamon?
No.
Okay. You're sure?
Sure.
So on account 61060, where we consider the possibility of incorrect appraised market value and that the ratio exceeding the median level of appraisal, I make a motion that we lower the value to $199,240.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Wait,
So you just took
wait,
$2 million
stop.
off.
I'm
of this
sorry,
property.
yes, I have, and I told myself before we did it, it's 1 million, I said wrong. $1,992,480.
Say it again, I'm not.
Okay, account number 61060. 1,992,480. No? Oh, you're shaking
It's
your head.
your
no.
number. I mean, you came up with it.
Okay,
I'm
yes.
just typing it in.
That's the number we came up with.
It was already seconded. So, Charlie, we need to vote on it.
Yes.
Okay.
What did we vote?
No, we didn't vote.
No.
You had to stop yourself. so
You stopped
we
it
didn't vote.
halfway. So we had a second. We have a second. Okay, all in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Aye.
Yeesh.
That concludes the cases for today.
Okay, you want to explain this?
Oh, okay. So we talked this morning about the letter to the property owner for the one that requested a lake protest. And we talked about putting in the language for 2525D in this letter, if I'm correct. So when I was doing that, I thought, well, this is the same kind of thing that we've been doing for the last month. So should we send out a letter letting everyone know that that the ARB has denied that they can file a 2525D?
Oh, God.
Well, but here's the thing, Kathy. No, I think we need to be consistent. I think
Did we do that last year?
last year, everything was done totally different. This year, they have said we have to do.
Oh, I know, but I mean.
So I just think we're opening ourselves up for somebody to come and say you showed favoritism.
Now, you were gonna look and see if it was in the rights and
I did not see it there.
it's not in the rights and remedies.
No, and here it is. I scanned through it and I gave it to Mike Soto to look at and ask him. Just said have a look, but I haven't talked to him. Okay, I will go get it, and I'm gonna print out the last.
The last what?
You're asking
Last
who's,
order.
so
The
what,
things
The
I had
letter
to
this
sign.
morning, Ramona, you weren't here, so you didn't hear it. We denied a hearing because it was not timely. Somebody died, I can't remember. Somebody died, it was the Jim Burns. And so Val wrote a letter to them saying that they could still protest. Trying to get my words right here. It had to be under a 25-25 scenario.
Right? Is there any question?
Doesn't seem to be in remedies.
No, it's not in remedies. What would you like to do forward or going back or what? The question posed to the ARB, are we talking about the letters of late
Yeah.
people asking?
Yeah, the one that we
So the-
replied to this morning, basically.
So you reply, like, you just have to answer the question. The ARB has to answer the question whether they want to grant a late hearing or they don't. And based on whatever reasons, I'm not gonna go into that at
In
all.
this case, we didn't grant the late hearing, but we told them they could protest under a 25-25.
Tell them that.
I think if we do
Well,
it
that's what we
on
did.
this one, we need, they haven't sent the letter
I know
out.
they haven't said it yet.
But what Val is saying is it wasn't in the wording on the other letters
All the other
that we sent out. And I think we're opening ourselves up to a big can of worms. Have somebody to come back and say, well, so-and-so told me that they got a letter and
It would be
it
better not
said
to
that
do
they
it all
could
then.
still come back.
We better not to do that, so.
I'm sorry,
We just need the answers
You-
no.
So
If we did that, then we would have to go all the way back to the beginning and send out a letter to all those people we denied.
So I'm saying
saying
it'd be better to just do what we've been doing and say, no, we're not gonna grant you a
Correct.
period. And not bring up the other subject, otherwise, she's right, we are opening a can
You
of
have a
worms.
letter.
But doing,
I'll go get one. Yeah.
doing it.
That's right.
all these other people.
Unless we want to go all the way back and send out letters all over to everybody, then, go for it.
you have, answer the question that was posed to you as an ARB. People always have the right, to 25-25,
Well, they don't know.
for 1/3 over.
Yeah.
Like if they've not been
Can you,
heard.
can you
Yeah,
read the
but
letter
most
like,
nine
and make it look like the rest of the ones we've sent out?
Absolutely. I'll be right back with it.
Okay.
I'm not suggesting we tell them all, because like I said.
No, well, I mean,
but you were the one that brought up the issue, so you're the
It's
one
in-
that
it's in-
needs to be comfortable
it's in
with
the,
it.
yeah, it's
What,
in,
we've not doing this one?
No, you brought up that you wanted them to get a letter saying they could do the 25-25. That's what you mean.
I didn't mean, we wanted to agree with.
let me just read the,
You just said that we have to go back and get everybody else. Doing that, having said that, I don't agree.
you can
Got
ask,
it.
you can ask your.
No, I mean, and it's okay, it's like, whatever, I just want you to be okay.
I'm fine.
You can ask your attorney how you'd like to proceed going forward. You have met your obligation of answering the question. It says this is correction to the roll. So the certified roll,
Correction.
this is 25-25 is the section that talks about correction of the roll. And so the certified roll will be done. And you've approved the appraisal records. I'm going to certify the roll. And at that point, it says that at any time, this is subsection D, at any time prior to the date taxes become delinquent, a property owner or the chief appraiser may file a motion with the appraisal review board to change the appraisal roll to correct an error that resulted in an incorrect appraised value for the owner's property. However, the error may not be corrected unless it's an appraised value that exceeds by more than 1/4 of the correct appraised market value in the case of a property that qualifies for residence homestead, or 1/3 an appraised value in the case that does not qualify as a property owner's residence homestead. So it goes on to talk about the penalty. It's 10% with the late correction. But that also, it's just saying that there's a gross. I didn't make the law, but I think the reason that the law exists was that a protest season comes and goes, and somebody looks at their tax bill and they go, "Holy smokes, what is this?" And they go, "This is way, I must have missed it or didn't see it." And it exceeds by more than a quarter or more than a third in such a way where they go, "Oh, I'm protesting that, not for the situation that you just heard." Having said that, that's in there. I mean, that's in there, and it's always been there.
Now, the letter that we normally send out is, "Dear Mr. McBurney, the Appraisal Review Board has received and read your letter in regard to a late protest. After considering your request, it was decided that the reason given did not constitute good cause for a late protest. The request for the hearing in 2020 is denied. Thank you for contacting us in regard to this matter."
That's what we've normally been saying.
That's what we normally send out.
And you meet your obligation to the question and answer.
So let's do that.
Yeah, I think we just need to continue that.
And then when it gets later in the year, when the ARB goes back to its quarterly meeting, if we receive a protest into our office, I would go ahead and send a letter that included the 2525 language. Would say to let them know we received the protest. I would say the ARB will probably meet at such and such time. Advise that the protest season is passed, and then all the verbiage about the 2525. And that kind of helps because when it gets really close to that delinquency date, that January 31st delinquency date, then somebody can't say, "Oh, well, I didn't know, and you had my protest."
It's already been cited.
Yeah. So if that's all right,
Okay.
that's kind of the
Yeah.
process.
Sounds great to me.
Okay.
And the reason that it says correction to the roll, it assumes that the roll has been certified at that point. And so it will be in the next 5 days, the roll will be certified. And at that point, any future protest has to come in the form of a 2525. That's what it's there for.
Yes, up until this point, that's what I kept talking about, that we had the latitude to decide that, okay, yes, these people can have a hearing. But now that is taken away. Now it says it must be a 2525.
That's the way I understand it.
Me too. I mean, I went back and
We're good.
read and so.
Is there any other business?
Morning at 8:30.
Is
Ramona?
tomorrow like full, big time?
Busy day
It's-
tomorrow?
Ramona?
Looks to be.
Yes,
Yeah.
Do you have anything else?
Representing people or just people?
I'm about to
I'm
shut.
good.
We have a
I'll see you at 8:30 if we're dismissed.
We're about to be.
And I think Val
Can I
is
have-
the bestest to ever forget, and Mike and all of them for Thursday and Friday both. Oh my God.
Do I have a motion?
I make a
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Bye.
Aye, aye, aye.
Y'all have a great afternoon.
Hey,
Bye.
bye-bye.
Okay.
End.